You could be the color commentator.
Yeah.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, you are hearing the method behind the madness. Ding, 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 ding. So we are back, take 3. This is Dungeon West Iron League action here in the MML Pro League. We're in Season 14. This is Week 1. 2 games have already been played in this playpool, as you can see. And now you are about to witness the High Elves, named the Rolling Ones, coached by JimSardonic, versus the evil Norse team, Golden Discipline, coached by perhaps a real human, maybe a sentient life form with no mercy programmed into his soul. It is Triperis, former MML champion. Who will win this battle, and more importantly, how many High Elves will survive the train wreck that's about to hit them in the form of this Norse team? The teams have already entered inducements. I'm told they're taking the field. Eldril has been hired to play for this team right here, this one right here, the Rolling Ones. Let's see real quick. You take a look at their team roster real quick. This is what they're walking into the season with. They're at a cool 1,500 TV. But do they have any journeymen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they got 2 journeymen, so that's going to translate to 1,640 TV. Take a look at those players. They're missing Larry in this first game, and they're missing another Larry dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, 3 journeymen, so that's going to be 1710 TV. And they're facing off against Golden Discipline. Let's take a quick look at their team. And that's a look at their pretty green clothing. They've got all their players and more. 13 players spent all their money, and they're coming in at a whopping 2040 TV. This is a big star team. These players demand a lot for their contracts, and they should be up in Cabal Vision. So we're going to check the crystal ball and let it transport us to the field. While I do that, I'm going to introduce my co-announcer here in this match. It's X Fox, or I just call you Fox for short.
That's right. Fox is the man. It's just Fox, and I'm really excited about this, Jets. This is looks like a nice, evenly strength match. Even though the Norse do have a slight upper hand with 4 strong people there. But with that, both the armors are pretty low on this team. This could be a chance that Jim could be a little bit of a bully coming right back at him. What do you think?
There will be blood. I don't think there's a lot of mighty blow on the health team, if I remember correctly. I think this is going to be more a question of the Helms trying to get that ball into the end zone really fast before the Norse have the chance to cut them down into little wood chipper bits. So really,
and we've already got an advantage here. He can redo his defense. Look at that.
Oh, so as we take the field, it looks like perfect defense has been called, and you're a little bit in advance because my crystal ball is still catching up. The Helves are kicking off, and that is good for the Helves. So we're going to switch the view, Fox, so we're on the same page. I'm going to be looking from the north side right now because they're on offense.
Okay.
And shout out to Josiah Frost, board member of the MML, an all-around great guy, and he poses the age-old question: is this the hashtag Boo the Stew channel? Well, I don't always boo the stew, Joe Fro, but when I do, I make sure that you're present to really fully enjoy it. So, boo away, my good friend. Boo away.
Has it just started for you there, Jest?
Yes. So the ball has landed. The Helves have reset. They put their journeyman on the line to keep a couple of these Norse guys busy. He doesn't keep them very busy for very long, and then they put a couple elves there to retrieve this ball in case something goes wrong. This has to be making Trippers a little bit nervous. That ball, if something screws up on this pickup here, he doesn't get the right men in place, these elves with their high agility and high movement and ability to throw and pass can make some terrible things happen. And as we talk about misfires, there's a double skull, but this week, that particular Ulf spent a lot of time training in hitting the heavy bag, so what would have normally have been a failed block and a wipeout turns out for Vasilis the Pretty to be a knockdown and a pylon, but he fails in removing that elf whose name is Larry.
Yeah, I gotta admit that's pretty good for Jim so far. Things are going pretty well. I was surprised he actually put an extra lineman there for an extra block. Definitely Tripp took advantage of that one, but it worked out in his favor. So here we go.
So I think that, well, you say it's an extra lineman. Yes, yeah, you're right. He put the guy up on the line to be blocked, right. And I think that all just comes from trying to put pressure on. And then we have our first injury. And that's smashed hand. That guy's going to miss the next game. The piling on is in full effect. If you've ever listened to Trippers' theories on pylon, he's like, if you're not going to use it, then don't have it. So he is going to pile on each and every play. He's going to try to smash you to bits. That's part of the strategy. He doesn't believe in wasting TV, and he is going to maximize that.
Yeah, I would say so too. Yeah, that first injury to a non-journeyman, especially a guy with Blodge. Then again, everybody's got Blodge on this team. It could have been worse. I know Jim is not happy, but it could have been darn worse.
Yeah. I mean, I think Trippers did put it best before the match. He was joking, well, maybe not really joking, but he said it's not a question of will the elves die, it's how many elves will die. And that's really just the question. Like I said in the beginning, I agree with that. Elves will die. Oh, elves will be hurt. Elves will be removed. It's just a question of how many. If Jim could limit that number and manage to get that ball out of the Norse's hands quickly, then that's the keys to victory, I think, for him. And I think the game plan for the Norse here is smash, smash, smash. That's pretty clear. And let's just see how that works out. Typical high elf game to me. Typical strategies. Joe Furrow, by the way, in the booth with me is Fox, X-Fox. In the booth with me.
Yeah, just Fox. Oh, we got a foul here.
And the ref, Eagle Eye Ref, says, hey, none of that today. All right.
Oh,
it's bad enough you're piling on.
Ref, I know he's a good friend of mine, that Eli Ref there. I actually talked to him before the game, and he said he was going to make some calls. If he saw some dirty play out there, he was going to call it. He is one of the fairest goblin refs I have seen in my career watching Blood Bowl. And not to mention the fact that he's already filthy rich, so it's very hard to bribe that ref. He won his winnings through the gambling of Goblin Gambling when he bet on the famous Dallas Cowboys the year they won. So, did I say Darkside Cowboys? I'm sorry.
Yeah, because if you bet on the Dallas Cowboys, you're a loser.
Exactly.
I like it, though. So that ref's not having that, man. The ref is like, you know what? You already got pylon. You need to throw elbows, too? Drop elbows while they're on the ground? No. But
exactly.
Trippers doesn't mind. He doesn't believe in wasting TV. He's got dirty players, and that's what they're for. They're going to foul every turn that they have the opportunity. And that's why he came in with 13 players on the roster. So the ref calls his player out. He says, I don't care. I'm just going to bring in one of these guys on the side over here, and they're going to come in and drop elbows next drive. Yep,
I do agree. He cares less than a bowling ball hitting a pinball machine. So, yeah, that's something there.
This is unorthodox. Eldro comes in with the foul?
Wow, I am shocked there. I am shocked. I am shocked like a person who just took heroin. That is amazing. I did not see that. I might like I just de-virginize taking that stuff, and I'm just shocked. Like, whoa, that's amazing. And I can't believe the ref didn't call that one. I guess there's too many bodies in between the ref right now, because look how big that Yeti is. I mean, he's in the way of the ref. How can the ref see that?
Well, also, I think the ref was maybe just so shocked that Eldril did that. Nah, I must have seen that wrong. Trying to see it through the fur of the Yeti, and also not believing that Eldril would be the guy making that foul. But I guess Jim is just trying to make a point here. You pile on, you're getting fouled. It's going to possibly cost you a player. And with the Norse being at 87, every time that they do that every time that they subject one of those 87 players to a foul, it could be the end of them.
Yeah, yeah, I do, and I do recall when I was interviewing, I read the Goblin ref there. He did seem to have a cataract in his eye. He's getting up there in the age though, so you know, gotta watch that.
Well, you don't get that secure in your wealth usually until you've lived on, for a while.
Exactly. I definitely agree on that. So,
so it looks like Jim may have made an error here and subjected one of his guys. There's a lot of frenzy on Golden Discipline, and Trip reminds him of why you don't want to sit your players even 2 spaces out from that sideline.
Yeah, I think that's a new mistake there. I think Jim is not only kicking himself in the arse there, he's probably jamming his face into his fist.
Lucky for Jim.
Like, oh my gosh.
If I remember correctly, Golden Discipline Stadium has the beer stand, so the fans get more rowdy and really kick the shit out of you extra if you fall into the crowd in their stadium. Luckily for Jim, they're playing at his home stadium where there is no enhancement, I believe. So the crowd just picks the health up off his back, helps him back to the sideline, and he's good.
Yeah, it's this, it started out pretty good. Now it's just looking like a slugfest out here. I mean, we only got 2 people out, 3 actually because of the pitch, but yeah, I'm starting to agree with you here, Jess. This is looking a little one-sided here. I thought there was going to be some bullying, a little back and forth. There was. I mean, we got a nice foul there from a star player, no doubt. Let's see what Jim does. I have a feeling Jim's going to kind of go for, if I was him, I'd probably go for blitzing that that ball carrier if any chance.
That's a sound plan. Hey, blitz the ball carrier when you have a chance to do that.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that. And Eldril runs up, and Eldril gives that man gives Dan Electro that Prince stare in the eyes. And they always say don't look him directly in the eyes because you'll turn gay. And that guy, though, Dan Electro, is too much man for Eldril. He's like, yeah, you got chiseled abs, but I got chiseled abs. I'm not that impressed. And,
yeah, I think Eldril mistaken that these guys, since they're in their bathing suit, that he thought that they were gay. That's definitely not the case.
Yeah, not Dan Electro. He's like, he's almost like, almost so straight that you think he's pretending. Look at the hair on his chest as he lays there. That guy is anything but gay as far as appearances go.
He's got hair on his back, too.
Yes, he does. And he's not trying to shave it either. And more fouls coming from Jim. He's trying to set a precedent. He's like, you want to foul? I'm going to foul. You pile on, I'm going to do that to you. And it looks like that Goblin ref is not very sympathetic to the Norse. They're like, you drew first blood, and I'm not going to throw these guys out.
I'm telling you, that Yeti's in the way. I mean, look at the Yeti. He's totally in this line of sight between the ref and the foul. That's what I'm thinking there.
You are correct, though. I am. There's the ref on the sideline. The Yeti is in the way. I think you might be right. You're onto something there. The Stu says he heard Dan Electro's into bestiality. He saw him holding hands with the Yeti.
That could be it. I mean,
Eldril didn't impress him.
It a long time to get out of the locker room. I tried to interview him before the game, and he came out a little too late, a little sweaty. I thought it was just pre-warm-ups or something. But yeah, I tried to interview him. It didn't come out too good.
Eldril doesn't have enough hair on his stomach to have interested or distracted Dan Electro. So, meanwhile, Fedorbjorn has got a couple of elves in his personal space right now, and the question is going to be, what will Trip do to remedy that situation?
I think Jim put his eggs on this one basket and see what he can. This is it. If Trip can get away from this, he's got a clear path to that touchdown.
I'll tell you what, I really don't hate this. And, I play High Elves a lot in the Sea Ladder, obviously. They're pretty much my biggest race I play. This kind of thing that Jim is doing is something I'm very... it can mean the end of your team really quickly, but it can also mean a win.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
So he's. I think Jim was sitting back and thinking about doing the slow column defense, try to pick some of this AV7 off, and then he realized he's getting his ass kicked, and he said, you know what? Screw it. We're going to force Trippers to make a choice of either defend his ball carrier or concentrate on attrition. And Tripper says, I'm going to do both. And are we going to see the pylon? Of course we're going to see the pylon.
Oh my gosh.
The diving tackle Larry.
Pylon, if you take a look at that pylon, you'll notice when he went down, he went face first and stuck his fangs right in the left butt cheek of that elf. Screamed in pain so much, and I think he was actually so shocked he got violated. That's how he got knocked out. He fainted. He's like, I can't believe I just got violated. He fainted. You know how very conservative these elves are.
Oh, so this is where it pays off. We were talking about this, right? So yes, there was some attrition there again. Jim lost yet another player. I think that's his fourth player removed. You can see one of these guys is the guy that got surfed. But now that ball is loose, and Jim is in a position to. So he brings Eldril over. And again, Eldril is just having no effect on these hairy Norsemen who think he looks too much like a young boy, and they're not really into that. So...
Yeah, Eldred did not put his extra eyelashes on. That's why it's not working there. I saw him in the locker room, and he didn't spend too much time in the mirror. I do agree with you there, Jess. I totally agree. This was the right move for Jim to do, and it paid off. This is what you do as an elf coach. You take the risk of all or nothing sometimes, and this time he decided to do it in the first 3 turns.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, the dice are not cooperating with him. They gave him, he got a little break at first, but this is like, he's not getting like the knockdowns, he's not getting what he needs. Eldril fails the hypnotic gaze. There's no, they're unable to knock that at least one of those players off. And he says, you know what, screw it. Elves don't hit anyway. We're just going to pick the ball up with our Agi 5, and then we're going to hand it to this guy who's covered, but whatever. And now the big question is, he's got the ball. What is he going to do with it? Of course, he's going to do what elves do best, is run back into his own end zone and make the Norse players worry about all of these potential scorers that are already downfield.
And I think it's a very smart move. And if I was him, I would have gone for it. He did not use a reroll.
Absolutely agree. I absolutely agree.
He should have done a reroll. Even though he's got nobody in the range that could get a tackle on him, he's got a chance to knock him down. His strength, I would have gone for it. Let's hope that he made the right choice.
Well, wait a second here. So you're saying nobody can hit him, but that's not true. Tripp's about to get him
nobody with tackle can hit him.
Nobody with tackle. Yeah, true. So that's what he was banking on obviously he was banking on the lack of tackle in the vicinity to save him, and in Blodge he trusts. However, 2-die blocks with a reroll, as Tripp has pointed out many times, can get the job done. So
Yep.
You're right. The GFI by that player would have gone. So did he take a GFI? How many GFIs did he? Yeah, 2 GFIs. If he doesn't burn a reroll and he made 2 GFIs, he would have made it so there would have only been potentially a 1-die block on him. And now Trippers never met a surf he doesn't like. And out goes another health. And now 5 elves have been removed. And if Jim doesn't score or do something quickly, this could get really oogly. And that's just a stun. But still, at this point, every man counts.
These elves are going out like cocaine in the 80s, man. Jeez, this is... Whew, they are leaving the pitch like there was no tomorrow. Or even no next week.
Exit stage right, and another health goes out. That's one of the journeymen. That's kind of what they're there to do. But
Yeah, those
yikes.
journeymen are nothing but pussies, I'll tell you. I mean, they're like wannabes. They're like the groupies. They want to be a part of a team, but they're not good enough. Preferably, in my opinion, they don't have the cojones to stay on the pitch. That's why they're just so easily to be, gone.
Tripper is putting another tackle zone on Eldril, and Eldril's going to take a seat and leave the match for the time being. Another
Look at these rolls! Oh my gosh! You would think there was halflings on the pitch here, my friend.
Oh, you haven't, you don't know about the legend of Trippers and his lucky dice on this Golden Discipline team. But you're about to find out.
This is the one that counts. This
is
the one that counts.
Who needs tackle?
Look at that.
Who needs tackle when you've got pals all day? And not only that, the ball falls right in a good spot.
The player.
He fails the roll to pick it up. Now he's used his last re-roll, but at this point,
it's
too late. Yeah.
This is the time where Jim gambled this time, and he lost. He gambled on the turn 2 when he went up to the ball carrier and won. He gambled on turn 3 and lost there. That's unfortunate.
Oh, okay. I'm a little bit surprised.
Yeah, me too.
He's doing it that way.
Why didn't he go there for an assist or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought he would have put the tackle zone right here.
Oh wait, I apologize. We have an AG5 with Leap over here who can definitely do a blitz over there.
Right. So I guess that's what he wants his thrower to be able to pick up the ball. Still, this guy's in the way. Yeah, and so I think it looks like it was a screw up.
Yeah.
And
he's gonna have to do this.
Now he's burned a reroll doing that. Which had he not done that, how did he? Oh, because it was a going for it. Okay. And there we go. It's gonna work out. So he wanted that. Oh no, it's not gonna work out.
Oh my gosh, he's
not getting up. He's not getting up. And Trip saying he called out for murder. Where's my murder? And he goes, there's my murder. No murder. The apothecary comes out, saves the elf, and it's just a pinched nerve. He turns a death into a pinched nerve. Still devastating. Again, clearly the dice in favor of the Norse. The sacrifices have been made in honor of Valhalla.
Now there is two things that Boogaloo's going to have to thank. He's going to have to thank his APO for reacting quickly to stop the bleeding and save his life. He's also going to have to thank that little orphan boy that the APO grabbed from the stands and took his spleen out. So that little orphan boy just gave his spleen to that player to save his life. And yeah, he better send a little thank you card to that little orphan boy.
Well, there's a little I don't think that
little 5 years old there.
How is that little orphan boy going to survive without his own? Wait, can you live without a spleen?
Very rarely. You can't really fight off infections and stuff, so he better not get the chicken pox anytime soon or measles.
So pretty much that little orphan boy is doomed, and you're just trying to draw our attention away from that.
But wait, I'm just getting a crystal ball message from him. He says to serve the Blood Bowl players, it was totally worth giving my spleen. So he's happy. Little orphan boy's happy there.
Another pal, surprise.
Name is Little Timmy. Very very ironic from the Christmas Carol there, but whatever.
So Trippers, who was maybe thinking about blitzing and walking into the end zone, decides, no. I'm going to stun this player now, and I can now successfully stall, which is what he wanted all along. So I do have to say,
3 players.
Anybody who's been watching this match, except maybe Trippers, will agree that the dice have been very much in favor of the Norse. However, I will say that had Jim done things differently in the last turn, there wouldn't have been so many opportunities for the dice to screw him.
Yeah, I agree. And, I'm not going to question Jim's strategies because this man has taught me a lot as an elf coach. Even stuff that I thought I didn't think of. I thought I was a decent elf coach, and he just made me better. There are some times when you do make some mistakes, and even that not even talking about the GFI, even that one where he had to burn a reroll to dodge into that spot. I
No, that was the
like,
prime.
Yeah.
That was.
Yep.
Had he not done that, had he just gone to that original spot, he wouldn't have had that one. Would have come with the automatic dodge out reroll that he used. Wait, yeah, because there was built-in dodge with the leaper. You got hurt, so yeah. Unfortunately,
rough game.
Success in Blood Bowl often comes from rolling less dice, and the more dice that you roll, the more chances for Nuffle to take out his big backpack and serve you with 4 helpings of it, if you know what I mean. You don't, but it's okay. Because it's an inside joke between me and Jim, but Jim gets it. He's been backpacked pretty hard.
And if you two can answer this question, do we have any Bloodweiser babes on the side of the elves there?
I don't believe we do. I think there's a wizard and there's Eldril were the 2 enhancements. And both of them are sitting helplessly on the sideline right now, ineffectively. But those knockouts right there, I mean, the good thing is for Jim that those knockout players are going to have 2 chances to come back for the second half. Because trippers cannot stall this into the second half, Jim is going to get the chance to one turn with this few players left in the pitch. I don't think is really possible.
I think that's his that's his only chance. I mean, that's the only thing he can really do. And looking at Trippers' team, it's going to be pretty tough to actually get a one-turner, especially with those stand firms that he's got over there.
I'm going to say this to anybody. If you ever play a Norse team, especially a Norse team coached by Trippers, do not do what JimSardonic just did. You'll find out why really quickly. So he's got 3 players left on the pitch. And Trippers has ran the ball back to stall because he obviously wants to try to pitch clear. That's always his goal. And he's going to try to maximize attrition here for the next 3 turns. This placement right here, you'll find out in a minute. I don't want to tip the hand, but I'm not worried that I'm telling Trippers what to do. He's seen it and his eyes lighted up.
I think I see what you're saying, but it doesn't look like it's happening.
Right.
Unless...
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, we could be wrong. He only moved 1 more player. He only moved 1 player there. I mean...
Yeah.
Let's see what he does. I'm surprised he hasn't moved the ball carrier up, but I'm sure he's just working out his little cage here. This nice, wide-open cage he's got that gives him a lot of room to run in, you know.
I see what Jim did. I see why he did it. I'm just wondering. Yeah.
Hello? Okay, good. Okay, all right.
For those of you listening live, that was Fox selling some drugs on the phone. Just took a phone call and sold some drugs. So if you need some weed, X Fox is the guy you hit up on PSN. Make sure that you say, there you go.
If you say X Fox, I'm not going to reply.
So Just Fox, you call up Just Fox and you say, you got that green? He goes, good, there you go. And then that's it. He hangs up the phone. And a midget will show up at your doorstep a couple minutes later with the good stuff. All right, so this is where the placement here, the exact placement is a problem. The frenzy allows tripperists now to get... Oh, there you go. Midget is probably a politically incorrect word now anyway. It's little person.
Exactly. Yep.
And here comes the elbow drop. And stun. Yeah.
Surprising he stayed on there, but then again, that's not a journeyman. That's a guy who wants to win.
Yeah.
He's going to stay on that pitch there.
But by putting him there and you basically gave a guy with friends, with multiple guys there 3 different hits. The frenzy put 2 different hits at least.
Yeah.
And,
it wasn't working. Wasn't looking good.
But I see what Jim was doing. He was trying to set up a possible relay here. So the threat of the wizard and then trying to run in, take the ball, throw it downfield, and get the quick score turn this game around. But triperis has effectively neutralized that. Hez has showed up to the match, looks around, sees the hurt elves on the field, and smiles to himself. He likes seeing hurt elves. I think Hez is coaching Nurgle this season, right?
Yeah.
I think he's got a special dislike for the elves. And Jim says, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to stop the score this half. I might as well just try to limit attrition. But again, placing your player there allows triperis multiple hits. So not only the blitz, but then he gets this follow-up block as well.
Very interesting. He didn't even throw a blitz himself, did he?
Wait, so that, no, he didn't. He just got his guy. It's like he's getting his guy out of range, but then triperis is just, I mean, this guy right here is one, I mean, it'll have to be a GFI, I guess. No, he's gonna have, it's an extra hit you're giving him. And again, if you ever hear triperis talk about how he views games, he measures how many blocks you're giving up versus how many blocks he's giving up. And if you give up more blocks per turn than he does, he sees that as statistically he's going to win. And Jim has just positioned himself. So not only is there there's a frenzied block coming, but if for some reason this blodger survives that frenzy block, which is now going to have 3 dice if this works out the way triperis wants it, there'll be an extra block coming. He doesn't use the berserker. He goes for the yeti. So 3-die block, doesn't get the blodger down at first, so he'll get another shot at it. And even if this doesn't work out, now there's another North Sky, Dan Electro, who is ready to take another shot at one of these annoying, effeminate elves with chiseled, hairless abs that he hates.
Yeah.
And unable to put him down. So, like I was saying, brilliant move by Jim to completely distract all of these Norse players with these blocks that he knew were going to fail. And there's a little Norse T right there, a little throwback. For those of you who remember the Norse T by Shadow Webster. Going on in the middle here. triperis, who is going to, of course, maximize his foul potential. This is the strategy. And again, the Yeti blocking the vision of the Goblin Ref.
And here we go. What's Jim going to be doing here? What do you think?
He's going to be trying to get his guys out of the way.
But he's running towards the guys. I mean, I guess there's nowhere else to run.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get cornered, so he's staying in the middle of the field. Ooh. Dodge is a thing, and this is where not having tackle kind of hurts. And triperis is not going to just score. He is going to maximize his hit potential. This time, Jim did not put anybody in range to get hit by two different people, so he's only going to get one shot at this. Again, here comes the Yeti, though, who has the pro skill in case anything messes up. Oh, he moves the Yeti. He's just going to hit with the Berserker. And here comes the boom. At first you don't succeed. Try again, unable to knock him down. And we should see a North score here. so far, this match has gone perfectly according to the Norse plan, I would say. What do you think, Fox?
I think so too. And I think it's a perfect time to call up our sponsor here. Do you have that uneasy feeling in that crotch on the pitch and need to itch? Well, now you have the ointment to ease your discomfort. Krabby! The jock itch cream that will satisfy your franken beans. If you got an itch, we got a helping hand to satisfy your needs. Krabby.
That's great. Great sponsor. I gotta say, Fox, I have used Krabby when times get tough. So, you know.
I gotta admit too, one time I was in my younger days when I was actually a wide receiver for the wonderful Wood Elf team, the Redwood Rangers, back in the old days, tabletop days. I was going for a nice long run into the end zone, and one little misstep because I felt a little stinging right in between the ear. I'm not even gonna say it. Let's get a little in between the little hole and the little beans, right in that middle spot. Caught me off guard, and that little hesitation got me tackled right in front of the end zone. And boy, I wish I had Krabby back then.
Dry skin is a problem, Fox, and that's why you got to combat it. Combat it with Krabby.
Got it. All right, so we think we got ourselves a worm turner here, Jess. What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna switch this over to the elf side. Luckily, while we were talking, maybe a lot of those elves used Krabby because out of like the 6 knockouts, 5 of them got up, and it looks like Jim has a team again.
All right.
They are setting up for a one-turner. It looks like potentially. So if you'll remember, if he scores a one-turner, by the way, I'm going to take full credit because last season, I ridiculed Jim for being a high elf coach that didn't know how to one-turn, and Jim, in response, made himself pretty much, as far as I know, an expert in one-turning now. So we're going to see the effects here, what Jim has learned. No pressure.
Yes, no pressure. He does have a nice 9-turn, 9-space speedy guy there, but Trip has 2 stand firms and a sidestep, so that's going to be difficult.
Oh, I didn't see the stand firm on the Berserker. Yep.
Yep.
So Stu's saying
really
it can't happen. He does have so he's got a movement 9 catcher.
Yep. He needs 1 push.
No, 2, right?
Or by some miracle, 1. He doesn't have a sprint. My apologies. I keep thinking of Wood Elves here. I apologize because just 4 days ago, my team actually pulled off a one-turner against some dwarves belonging by Magoo there, and I remember his comment was that it feels worse than a loss. Yeah, it was epic for me. That was my. I'm just now de-virginized. That was my very first one. So
if you only needed 1 push, I would say that the one-turner could potentially happen, right? Well, if you, it could potentially happen if you only needed 1.
Yeah. Now it needs 2. I think it would. Yeah.
Yeah, so if he did, since he needs 2, it's not happening.
Nuffle decided not just to poo-poo on Jim's team, but to pee-pee on him with rain there. So
absolutely,
yeah, there you go.
So the only issue that Trip is going to have here is he's put some high-value guys on the line to make this happen.
That's true. I would still make the risk, though, just to prevent that one turn.
Right, yeah, of course. And I've done it. I've put a wolf on the line to stop a one-turner before with my 2 flush columns, besides stepping wolf.
Jim's not even going to try that one turn. He's just going to try to get some free blocks. And,
exactly. And that's where
I think,
AV7, he's like, so you put AV7 on the line, and it's a stun.
Yeah, I don't think there was any chance he could have even go for the one turner unless
No.
Nuffle blessed him with quick snap, but yeah.
Right.
He did the right call.
It seems he was trying to set up for that possibility.
I gotta say, this first match, this first half, just to recap there, even though it's been very dominant one-sided, both these coaches have, strategy-wise, have done very well. There's been a little bit of, tactical mistakes by Jim that we pointed out, but strategy-wise, I mean, he did everything he could to do defense there.
Yes, definitely. And the dice have not been kind. Make no mistake, the dice have not been kind to Jim at all in the first half. But there are moments here. If you don't know how this dice pool works, wow, the dice just continue to take a crap on Jim, or pee on him, as you pointed out now. There are moments in this game, because there's like a shared RNG, so like the way the RNG works is there is a dice sequence calculated at the beginning. And those are the dice that are to be rolled. It's not like dice for one and then dice for the other. There are dice sitting in the middle, and then when it's time for you to, like, when you make an action, whether you move a player, like if you move a player, you stand a player up, whatever, every time you do something, the next die in that sequence gets burned, right? So things that you do, something as innocuous as, look, in a cheeky turn 8 foul on a key piece by triperis is unsuccessful. But anything you do could alter this, who pulls what die when, and it could have a ripple effect later on in the match. So, although Jim got some really crappy dice at certain times, you have to wonder what could have been different had he not moved the guy to the wrong square first and then decided to roll more dice by dodging him for an extra square. Who knows?
Yeah,
if you're going to be golden discipline, though, you got to play flawless. And so far, the play has not been flawless, and the dice are not giving him a cushion.
Totally agree. This has been a Norse game here. Why couldn't it have rained on the north side, huh? This Knuckles is not smiling on him today. Yeah, no.
And again, I want to put this in perspective. It is immensely hard to play an entire game of Blood Bowl, 16 turns, and put every guy in the right place and not screw anything up. At one point, former MML champ Seston said, "Hey, I'm not even trying to win. I'm just trying to get through the game, not like mistake-free. If I can be mistake-free or make maybe 1 or 2 mistakes or something like that, that's a decent game on my end, and I'm going to let the dice take me where they may." But there are very few coaches that I know that can get through the match, suffer horrible dice, but put every guy in the perfect place to overcome the dice. Gerd is one of them, multiple-time champ. Gerd makes very few mistakes. I certainly make my share of mistakes all the time. So, if you can stay mistake-free, you greatly improve your chances. And it may sound like we're peeing on Jim here for the couple of mistakes he made. Oh, and Nuffle just continues the onslaught. Look at the placement of the ball. And the Norse are all over this. Oh, God.
This is, yeah.
But yeah, triperis has not been in a position where, wait, was that a failed blitz? No, he was just trying to move the Yeti and the Yeti wild animal. So there's going to be a blitz coming from somewhere else. But yeah, Trip hasn't been in the position in this match yet to where we can say, oh, brilliant coaching to overcome dice. He's just had good dice. So Trip is a solid coach. I'm not contesting that, but I'm saying Jim's minor mistakes have turned out to be game killers for him because of the dice.
Yep, I do agree. And I gotta say, if you take a little close up there on that Yeti, the reason why he wasn't moving is because he's enjoying spitting saliva into his own mouth. As you can see, he spits it in the air, and then he tries to grab it with his mouth, and successfully got 2 or 3 times out of that. So very good there, Yeti. Yet, there is rain, so I don't think that's I don't think you're really doing a successful job there.
Hey, he felt something wet hit his mouth. He counted it as a win.
Yeah, exactly. That's a little not too smart up there upstairs, but we'll see how the rest of the Norse team does here. So far, I'm having trouble thinking who are the elves here, right? I mean, this looks like what elves would do in a situation like this with Blitz and yeah, this is just not.
This is a recurring theme with Golden Discipline. Yeah. This is a recurring theme where the Norse BS happens, and he'll put that runner there in the rain, and
things could just not go any worse. I mean, Jim is like a hobo with no bridge to go under. It's just terrible times for him, you know.
This is so, and of course the catcher, no problem. The runner, 4-post catch, no problem. In the rain, no problem. So
last I checked, when a ball is that wet, it's like trying to wrestle.
It's Blood Bowl after dark, and
he still catches it. Yeah, he still catches that thing. It's amazing.
I gotta say, that to me would have been the time where I would have probably just said screw it and used the wizard. With a fireball that entire little crew over there.
It's possible, and it could be that Jim is just not thinking right now because he's listening to us, and we're just adding into his agitation right now. He's probably just not thinking. I don't know. Maybe he's saving it. But I have to sometimes. Sometimes
I want
it's
to point
bad
out
for me to listen to commentators.
Yeah, because you're over here talking about wet balls, and Jim is like, "Oh, my balls are a little wet because I'm angry." Is that a thing? You get angry balls from being wet? You put an Eldril on the side there, and he's just hypnotic. So Jim's not using the wizard, thinking, I guess he can get that 2-die block on the ball carrier, and he does have a safety back there. And that safety, will that safety try to put... No, so he's going to take not going to go for the ball carrier. He's going to hit the Ulf. Oh, this is interesting.
And I wasn't really talking about wet balls. I was talking about wet balls with spikes. A little bit different.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, if there's spikes involved, then that changes the matter completely.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, masturbating with a cheese grater. Very painful, but slightly amusing.
But who hasn't tried that before, in your defense?
A friend of mine said something like that. That's how I know. Friend from my college days. Yeah.
Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
So
now we're back on defense here, huh?
And now, and Jim is making it. I mean, this is admirable. I gotta say, I'm not sure I'd have the imagination to do what Jim just did, but he's constructed a nice little defensive conundrum for trippers to deal with over here.
He's committed now, but when you've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with frenzy, this could go ugly real quick.
Absolutely. Triperis sees all these elves by the sideline, and he is salivating.
Yeah, he's salivating like a hooker is on crack. That's very bad there.
Well, that's not really fair, Fox. Not all hookers do crack.
Excuse me, $5 hookers. I'm sorry.
Okay. $5. That's within all $5 hookers definitely do crack.
Unfortunately, that's my only price range that I have, so I haven't met any other kind of hookers. So
we're gonna just ignore the first bad dice that Trippers has suffered. His entire half.
That's a huge turn of events. Yeah, I'm sorry we were talking about hookers there, but.
And this is where. So I will say, taking that was a riskier move, and he was setting it up for something else. But this is about the most disastrous thing that could happen. Your first move on your turn in this situation, and you go double ones. You haven't set up anybody to deal with what happens if something like that happens. Because he's thinking, what are the chances of double ones? Besides, I have this Norse luck.
Now, what's he to do? Is he going to use a fireball now? He hasn't moved anybody, and I know he's got his own men in the range of a fireball. I would say F it and go for it right now. But
you'd go for the fireball right now?
I go for the fireball. I would say go with it. I mean, I need to get something going on here to get at least a tie. I got to
You're a
go
wild
for it.
man.
I mean, I'm supposed to be on defense. I mean, offense, but now it's defense. I'd probably go for it, but that's just me. I got to tell you, though, once again, Jin makes a strategic move to go all in, and it worked.
He goes right for the 4+ pickup without trying to make any blocks. Relies on the healthiness and then just gets a couple of failures. And now this puts triperis right back in the driver's seat. So Jim not learning from triperis' mistakes and making an even bigger one himself. By the way, shout out to Hez's boss, who definitely likes $5 crack hookers.
Yeah, Hez is the one who introduced me to his customer, his repertoire. So, yeah, I definitely know about that.
It's his boss. Hez likes the high-priced ones. It's his boss that really... He thinks that the $5 crack ones they come with character. The bullet wound really tells a story, and that's what he likes. The bullet wound in the butt cheek.
They don't only come with character, they also come with crabs.
Yep. Well, sometimes you gotta take the good with the bad in that business. You know what I mean? Do you want the ride of your life? Are you willing to take a little penicillin after, or what?
Yeah, that's definitely my go-to. It's not a cigarette afterwards. I go right to the penicillin.
Let's not be elitists.
So now it looks like triperis is learning from his mistake. He's going for the easy stuff first, which all coach players should do. I think there was a little too much risk between both of them on that turn, and they both are learning it the hard way.
The play in this half has been messy. With the sloppy rain, there's all this mud flying around. There's $5 crack hookers walking around in the stands, making things happen, and the coaches are just when in Rome, just going with it.
You got me confused here, Jess. Are you talking about the game, or are you talking about my Saturday night? I don't know.
Well, Saturday night is great, but we're talking about a Thursday here, Thursday afternoon.
Sloppiness and hookers.
Yeah.
That's my Saturday night there. But yeah, I agree with you. I think sloppy is an understatement. Sloppy is when you see 5 halflings trying to go for a breadbasket. But this is a little too close for comfort. Yeah.
Sloppy is
there goes another one. Yep.
His head's attacking that KFC sandwich who has the freaking fried chicken as the bun.
Yeah, I think a lot of people ate some.
He's always talking about that sandwich.
Okay, we just got an analysis of the rain here. This is not normal rain. Well, one of my laboratory teams just made analysis of this rain. This is not normal water.
Is this Russian Trump rain?
This is actually, there's a ritual going on about a mile away, a chaos ritual of their gods crying all over the field. And wait a second, nope, I'm sorry, not crying, wiping his butt, the sweat off his butt. And this is just the aftermath coming down, one of the chaos gods. Yeah. So that's why the ball's extra slippery, because sometimes water's not so slippery. This is a little... some kind of saliva that's going on here.
So the slippery rain, too much for the naked bodies of these Norse men to hold on to, and that is a loose ball, like a 70-year-old guy in a locker room, just laying out there for everyone to be reviled at. And it's going to be a foot race here to grab the loose ball.
I want to make a correction there. That was not a 70-year-old man in the locker room. That was me, Jess. So please keep it in the down low for me. Thank you.
Can I recommend Kegels?
I will try that. Thank you. That's something I will try.
I heard it works wonders.
What's Jim gonna do here, man? He's I don't know if this call is a break, but he's got to do something here. I mean, he can definitely win the race on getting to the ball, but he still does not have the upper hand here.
Well, that was huge. Eldril finally manages to charm one of these berserkers. The toughest, baddest berserker decides that he likes what he sees in the young nymph like Eldril, and Look at that. The catchers
look at
are...
his name. If you see the Berserker's name, what's his name?
Chirrup?
Nope, that's Sheriff.
Sheriff?
Everybody thinks it's Chirrup, but it's Sheriff because he's a big fan of Cher.
Oh, there's that. Now it makes sense.
That's why he's eyeing a little of Eldril there. He's taking a little extra time eyeing Eldril there because, you know, big fans of Cher, and you're a guy sometimes. I'm not saying all the time. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It definitely
you know,
says something.
Approach.
Right.
Exactly. Just like
now,
Seinfeld. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying.
I do want to point out, though, that we have taken the time to crap all over Jim's play earlier in this match, but this has been a display of brilliant elfiltry. Elfiltry definitely being a word. He has built a wall that Donald Trump or Archibald Drumpf would be proud of here to keep all the dirty, sweaty foreigners out. And although these guys are from a country that he doesn't see as a shithole country, he likes Norway. And how the hell did that guy... Oh, he's movement 8? Are you kidding me? Wow!
You'd think he's a freaking elf.
He just came from all the way back here. What kind of that guy was Forrest Gumped over there. That's crazy. So what looked like a sure thing, more of a sure thing than a $5 crack hooker, for the elves being a touchdown, now is turning into less of a sure thing as the Norse attempt to build their own wall and punish these elves for being insolent.
Well, yeah, that wall was just as effective as Trump's casinos. So yeah, that's what do you expect? You know,
or his sharper image stakes.
Yeah,
which were a hit. Everybody wants a steak from Sharper Image. You get you a nice massage chair and a steak to go with it.
Yeah,
I
agree on that.
This is going to be an interesting next turn, man. Interesting next turn.
Will he go for a one-man block? Will he go for a lightning bolt? Will he go just to try to get that touchdown as soon as possible? He's in the range.
Run past Savant, slap him on the ass, and then run into the end zone? Who knows? Stolzy, that was the joke I was making before. Was this a Russian Trump shower that was coming down? Fox didn't want to touch it, much like his ladies on a Saturday night.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to confuse the two there. Okay.
Eldril
has
made Sheriff mad, but actually he's not mad. He's love tapping him over there. They're playing a little game of grab ass. He's like slapping his ass, and they're giggling like little schoolgirls.
Exactly. You do a little close up there, and you notice there was a little bit of a reach around there from Sheriff. Yep. Good old Cher there.
Golf ball in the garden hose, if I do say so.
And if you take another close-up of Eldril, because he's got that mask on, you can see that there's a nice little smile there from Eldril. So,
I can't see a smile past those tight leather pants. Oh, so the tackle does go into effect, and this could steal.
This is huge.
Oh, that's huge.
This is so huge. That could have been a touchdown right there for Jim. Didn't even need a lightning bolt. Oh, my gosh.
This is what triperis is capable of with tackle.
This is almost like putting the nail in the coffin here.
There's still opportunities to be had, and Jim said, screw it. I am going to go for mine, and Savant is knocked out. One good knockout deserves another, and I already know what's going down. You know it.
He's going to go for it.
I know it, yeah. But he's just figuring out what order he wants to do things in, and I don't really think at this point there is much to do other than do that. Dodge is a thing, picking it up, walking it in.
Touchdown! This is amazing. That is,
in the end zone, taking off his helmet and laughing. I have to ask, would you have considered a stall at that point, you think, Fox?
No. And as an elf coach, you got to go for it. He was within range of getting hit again. You don't want to take that chance. Right now, I'm as giddy as a dwarf in a beer festival. This is now a game. And since we have that going with another touchdown, time to go with our other sponsor here.
Nice. I love our sponsors.
Terrible athlete's foot? Can't put that extra oomph in your fouling? Try cornhole. Our main ingredient of Nurgle saliva will ease that pain between your toes. Cornhole. Now in a new flavor, wet dog.
It stinks so good.
Exactly. You already have stinky feet. Might as well have calm and no pain feet, right?
Hey, are you sure? So while they're setting up on defense, I'm going to back this up real fast on my Cabal Vision TV. So he puts this tackle piece. Let's see. I want to see, because the touchdown was great. I'm just thinking now he's only got 6 players on the field to try to stop a touchdown from like a full Norse team, like 11, right? So the tackle piece goes, and he is on the 4th square. So he's got 9 more squares to go. No, I think Jim could have stalled for one more turn at least, right? Forcing. So he could have got one more out of it. He just didn't want to burn a possible reroll later on the dodge out.
You sure that guy with tackle couldn't have gotten to him? Because I think he had.
He was on square number 4 with 6 movement. No, you're right. He could have got to him. No, you're right.
Yep.
My fault.
Yep.
Yeah. He would have 2 GFIs to get there.
Everything happens so fast, you got to make assumptions, right? That's why.
Absolutely.
And when you make assumptions, what happens?
You make an ass out of you and umption. Hey, by the way, one thing we didn't examine is, he had 3 people knocked out that time, and that time Nuffle wasn't kind to him. None of the 3 got up. So that was huge. So I'm sure Jim was actually thinking, hey, I'm going to score this touchdown. I'm going to get like 1 or 2 of these guys back at least. And he didn't. He got 0. So that's why he's only got 7 players on the field against an 11-man team of Norse who. This is Triperis' bread and butter right here. I'm going to stroll down the field and destroy anyone who gets in my way. And Jim's going to kick it deep. And when he kicks it deep, somebody in the stands throws a rock. And, man, that was I thought that rock would have been directed to the other side of the field because generally those rocks are thrown by fans of soap. However...
Yeah.
That time, the rock goes headed straight for the thrower, stunning him. And Larry Lionelski now is going to take a Ulf Pylon, which, even if you survive it, which he did, you still come out with the smell of wet, matted fur all over your body. It's completely disgusting.
Yeah, I do totally agree on that one. Here comes that blitz.
And again, unsuccessful. So, Troopers who is vehemently defended the effectiveness of the frenzy as a legitimate alternative to tackle, keeps seeing his frenzy frustrated recently. So it seems that the dice are starting to be a little tougher on Triperis at this point, on the blocking at least. He's not getting the damage done that he was in the first half.
Yep. I do agree there. What do we got going on here is that we've same old usual stuff. More than half that elf team is on the ground, and Norse is just looking from above, like a bully on my 3rd grade class.
Surprise, surprise! Another foul, and who was that on the foul? It was Vladimir, the crazy Russian, or I don't know if Trip would say he's Ukrainian or Russian. Is Vladimir a crazy Russian or is he a crazy Ukrainian? I don't know. If you say the wrong one, they'll definitely get offended. So I don't want to do that. But anyway, Vladimir is a nutcase, and that Goblin ref now has his eyes. I don't think the Yeti's really blocking his vision at this point, but it's just the rain at this point. He's kind of given up on calling people for fouls.
Yeah. This is interesting here. What we got going on here is that Good old Dan Electro here is paying quite extra attention to Eldro. A little too close for comfort, in my opinion, but we've got ourselves possibly another blitz going on here.
This is ballsy, bro. He is, Jim is trying to figure out right now whether he wants to put that catcher in direct contact, and he decided no, he's not going to. Tackles the thing. Oh, failed dodge. And he did some extra jump rope this week. Gets him in a position.
Well,
I gotta say,
yeah, go ahead.
I really like the sequence, the idea that Jim had of pushing the guys downfield and not giving Tripp the opportunity to let this guy get to his people. But it feels like he just kind of half-assed it. You got very little guys to do what you want to do. If you're going to do it, just lay your balls on the line and go for it. You know, you had a diving tackle catcher who could have GFI'd one more spot and got in contact with your ball carrier.
I agree. It's like when it happened to me last Saturday night when my balls were in the grip. I went to get an erection so I can break the grip. And this is trying what he's going on here. He's got his balls on the grip there by the Norse, and he's going to try to puncture through it, you know?
You have managed to both shock and awe me into silence at this point, because I don't know what you're talking about, but it's kind of freaking me out.
It's kind of my specialty here, Jest. If you haven't noticed me announcing other matches, I think more than once I've gotten people silent.
I'm not complaining. I'm actually impressed.
And I'm actually quite surprised it took this long for me to silence you by this time. I mean, usually first half, someone's already out there right there.
I have a pretty high threshold and appreciation for degenerate behavior, but you, sir, have definitely taken it to the next level.
Thank you, thank you.
It's impressive.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So what do we got left here? Do we have a ragtag group left here with the Velves? Or what's going on? Oh my lord, this is just a push fest going on here. Kind of like my third grade lunch line here. Just getting pushed to the back of the line. Yeah,
there's more frenzy, more poor man's tackle. Will it be effective? And it will not. But he's pushing him into more block. No, he's not pushing him into more block. Tripp's had enough of chasing that guy down. He just wants him away. And he leaves free some of his other men to do the things that they do. 3-die block doesn't get it done. Kanye West is going to have another crack at it, though. And nothing. My, how the dice have turned.
That's a solid formation. I want to see the opposing team have a go at the ball now.
Oh, Vlad is from Latvia. That's what Blue Max says. That's right. So there's going to be a block on Eldril. Not going to take him down. They are going to try to make it more difficult for him to do the things that he likes to do. Solid positioning from the Norse. I am curious how Jim will try to combat this situation. One of the few turns that didn't end with a foul. Maybe because Tripp didn't have a free man.
Yeah. Okay. So my thing here is that what we've got going on, you just got to keep going, puncture right through it. Puncture your balls right through that vice grip and get in that ball carrier. This is it. This is turn 14. This is the time that you got to show what you're made of.
Yeah. The question is, though, how do you go about doing that? Because triperis
the key lies in Sidewinder here. Good old Eldro with his nice boy gaze is going to have to do it for him.
Yeah, I personally would be I don't think there's a good shot on the ball carrier, so I think you wait until more of that happens, possibly. And that's what, see, this is the difference between Jim and some of the other elf coaches. You take a guy like Stu. Stu takes more shots than Jim. I think he would agree. Just the amount of blocks that have been thrown against this AV7 in this game have been kind of low. So it's allowed, and because Trip has a get you before you get me strategy, it's allowed him to keep removing people with really no threat at the removals to himself. But now the elves are starting to show that they also can thin these numbers a little bit. If they're able to do that,
play a little looser. When you have no choice, you play a little looser, like loosey-goosey.
And Jofro points out that, of course, Stu would also be losing here, so really the conversation is kind of moot. Fend action going, that's pretty annoying. And the ball carrier is now in contact. So I forget, if Eldril Hypnotic Gaze is the ball carrier, does he drop the ball?
No, he just stands there, and you can ignore the tackle zone. There's not real much you can do there. You don't drop the ball. You would even see it in the descriptions of Hypnotic Gaze, and I don't remember that being a thing. So, yeah.
And then he runs this other catcher back. This is interesting, man. I mean, this is a tie game, and the Norse seemed like they had the upper hand before. They still do appear to have the upper hand numbers-wise. But
wait till turn 14 for them. You're going to see things going to... Ooh!
Eldro with
real ballsy here.
Yeah.
I would have done it. I would have done it. And he's right back to where he started.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, Jim is playing Trip's game here. This is the way Trip wants it. All mosh pit together, and he's got the ball.
And Jim's throwing red dice, and Trip's getting all 2 and 3 dice.
Yeah, and Chip, he's going to not be able to do any more of that gutsy stuff anymore. He's out of rerolls. So,
look at that!
Whoa! Look at
Yeti!
that! The Yeti is still amused by his own spit in the air there.
He's looking around up in the rain and not looking at that poor loner right next to him.
Yeah, I think he thinks that he's somewhere in. I think he thinks it's snowing or something. But no, you're not home, Mr. Yeti. You're just still on the pitch there. Let's see what we got going on here.
Poor Eldril's about to catch a face full of boot. Maybe. Yep.
Yeah,
Eldril
I think
doesn't
so.
know how to
I
block.
think they're tired of him distracting their questionable, you would say, curious players.
They're going to have to put those guys back through conversion therapy, I guess.
Yeah, you can see the coach yelling on the sidelines there. Hey, we're playing Blood Bowl here, guys. Stop buying the eye candy over there. So,
but we're going to play Slabbers!
That's what I'm seeing here.
And I bet right now Jim wishes he had a second wizard. Definitely make things
Well, it was definitely
easier.
worth it when he used it. I don't think you would have got that touchdown if he didn't.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Again, though, had Jim decided to go after that other ball on the sideline in a different manner, he may not have been in that situation to begin with, and he could have possibly saved it for after he scored, and we were in a situation like this. So.
Yep.
And it won't be enough. The tackle player unable to put away that catcher, Agi5 Larry, but he will get in his way, it looks like.
I'm sure. He'll get right in his face like white on rice. No! My apologies. He's leaving him alone like smallpox.
And a little frenzy block by the... the pals, I guess, were used up earlier in the match.
Yeah.
And finally,
there we go. finally got something going on here, but I mean,
But
do
it's
we really
not
want
on
a
one of
battle
his.
going on here?
It's not one of his pylon guys, so triperis is immensely frustrated.
Yeah. She's frustrated
Smart.
like a Yeti
This is
staring in the mirror there.
This is a smart move. Jim is doing the easy stuff first. He's picking his guys up off the ground and putting them where he can put before he rolls any dice.
Yeah, but my 6-year-old daughter could tell me that.
Yeah. And look at that. Ballsy. So it looks like
an assist.
he doesn't even try to remove or knock down Dan Electro and make it harder for the Norse to run up the field. He's getting straight in that ball carrier's face.
Yeah, he better do something because he's about to get surfed.
I don't hate this. I really don't hate this. I think I know where the blitz is coming from, but
that's going to be one hard blitz. Exactly what my second grade teacher told me when I was eating my glue.
Look at this.
Yep. He is playing Trip's game. He says, I'm going to play your game, Trip, and I'm going to go for it all in. Let's see how this is going to play out.
That's what I thought the blitz was going to come from.
Yep.
And right on that's only a 1-die block?
Oh, 1-die block
because the runner is a strength 4.
Strength 4.
Man. This goal and discipline team is...
Yeah,
you know what? This is why it doesn't matter that he didn't knock him down. Like, yeah, that would have been a bonus, but he's got 2 people on him now, and it is turn 15, and he has to slow the advance.
Yeah, I think I would. I don't think I would have played any other different. He had to, not having a sidewinder there to help out with his, boyish charm. He had to go all out.
As Jofro would agree. But yeah, this is going to make it very hard for Trip to get that ball carrier down the field the way he wants. And there are going to be some dice rolled in turn 16. It's not going to be the easy walk-in that Tripper has had in turn 8. And so for all of the, for the couple of, the 2 big major mistakes I think we identified and a couple of minor ones that Jim has made earlier in the match, he has really kind of redeemed himself through some stellar expert elf play. And that really helps.
Yep. I never question Jim's strategic mind. When you try to question Jim's strategic mind, is like, trying to answer why Ronald McDonald touches kids. You don't know.
No, Ronald McDonald touches kids?
Go against that. Yeah, it's all in the commercials.
What?
I mean, not in that way.
McDonald's advertises that it's in the commercial? Oh, you mean like touches them not in a bad way?
Yeah.
Like he gives them hugs, but not like bad hugs.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but that just came out of my mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Anyways, exactly. She said exactly that. And then I paid her $5. And let's see what we got.
And she smoked crack in front of you.
Well, I had to pay her in some way. Besides, that's the tip,
She got 2 tips that day. Oh!
Ah, yes, a very big one and a very small one, but the big one came after.
It's dark somewhere, Joe Fro. It's dark somewhere.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, we've got a nice long turn here because we got so many players on the field. Tit doesn't know what to do here. He's got so many players to choose from.
And there's a successful dodge out. Of course. And he's got a protected 4-strength player there sitting in there with the ball. And this is kind of a good situation for Trippers.
Yep. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good. There you go. So it was all set up for the surf on the next turn of that episode. And
this is it. Balls to the walls here. What is Jim going to do? He's got to go for it. You know it. Let's see how.
I have a play in mind. Let's see if Jim agrees with me. If you guys on the screen, I won't say it out loud because they're in the party.
He's going to be red dicing it. Yeah, he's going to be red dicing it no matter what.
I have something in mind. Let's see if he. Yup, he may not be red dicing it. Well, he may not be red dicing it. If this works, and it does, the charms of Eldril are just too much.
Yeah, he's definitely really working his charm there.
It's very possible it will not be a red die block at this point.
He's gonna have to block from next to Sidewinder now that he plays that elf there. I would have placed that elf behind him. In fact, the reason that he you're talking about the Eldril? Yeah, he should place the assist guy next to Eldril. Now he's got a blitz next to Eldril, right?
Not necessarily. No. There's stuff he can do. And if you're watching on my screen, you can see the path.
Right, he's got that journeyman there.
Yeah, which you don't normally want to do, but times are tough, man.
Oh,
that's
read my
83%
move.
move. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then you got to put. They're in the party, so I'm not gonna say it a lot. But if you're watching my stream, you got to put that guy here, right? And then and then you complete it right there. So Jim and I are of the same mind on this one. And now it's just a matter of knocking down a guy with no dodge with a 2-die
he's
block.
Not going to go for the win. He's just going to go for a tie here. He's got no one to throw the ball.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know, at this point, the chances of the win are tough. And, he successfully completes it.
He got it!
Like one of those episodes with the $5 crack hooker.
Oh!
It is successfully completed. Right into the hands of the loner, who comes up kind of big in a way, except that there was potentially somebody in range to make that. See, like this catcher could have gone, picked up that ball, thrown it to the dude on the sideline if he wanted to get. No. It would have had to have been making crazy dodges. And
that
he's
would
not
be crazy, and that'd be risking the ball going to sidelines and going somewhere else where he doesn't want it to go.
Jim is going to have to just turtle up on this one. And
Jim was not going for the miracle. He was just going for the most, realistic, strategic way to get this to, his favor. Hopefully he wins the coin toss.
But I will say, Fox, that you cannot, despite how much more difficult Jim has made this, he's definitely done a great job retrieving that ball and stopping or creating problems for the touchdown. If you have watched any Golden Discipline games, you know that they are totally comfortable in this situation. Yeah, it involves some elfy stuff, knocking the ball loose on it's not a plodger, knocking the ball loose. And wait, so was he going to, no, he wasn't going to blitz with the Yeti. So the Yeti wild animals, again, still spitting into his own mouth. And again, spitting into the air. The spit goes who knows where. He catches rain in his mouth and goes, yeah, nailed it. But they are totally comfortable freeing this ball, having it fall in the rain, potentially in tackle zones, picking it up elf style, dodging out, throwing to the guy who's still 2 GFIs away from the touchdown, catching it in the rain, running for the 2 GFIs for the win. We have all seen Golden Discipline do this so many times before in the past. Will they be able to repeat this success now? How will Triperis do this?
You could not be more right than John Edward predicting tomorrow's dinner.
Or Al Gore predicting the fall of our planet and global warming.
Exactly. You couldn't be more right than that. There's just no other way that I can say it.
Or the fact
he went after him like a sperm on an ova egg and got that ball loose.
There you go.
That was awesome. Can he pull through?
That ball is loose.
Get that ball.
That ball is loose. Like
the hard part's still not over there, Jess. I mean, he's got to figure out who's going to pick up that ball because, this is woof.
Yeah, Jofer agrees. This is totally within Tripp's ability to get this done. We've all seen it happen way too many times. There is going to be some Norse elfing happening here. Rain or not. But, I mean, he says screw it! And
He's
just
got
goes
no
for
more
the...
time left. He's got 7 seconds. He's got to
He
do
picked
something.
it up! He picked it up!
Oh
in the
my
head!
gosh!
No!
And he gets it!
Oh, I hate him right now.
Oh, amazing!
Here's
Amazing!
this is why I'm just gonna call him out. This is why the clock ran all the way down to like the 1 second mark. Because Trip was simultaneously running this game on his Twitch account. And he has Samba, the percentage calculator app, open on his on his Twitch. So he's been typing those numbers. I'm sure he ran the numbers on different routes and what the percentages would be. So while normal Blood Bowl coaches would have been like, just trying to calculate the stuff in his head, Trip ran the numbers, figured out that was a better percentage of just making that 33% dodge, picking up the ball in the rain, making the 2 GFIs, et cetera, than it would have been to make all the other rolls. Again, the ultimate try-hard technique, but it gets the job done. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I am just amazed and aghast, like a halfling who just ate the entire meal of the elf banquet. Now, to finish it, I know you want to interview the post-interview here, but to finish it, we got to go with our last sponsor here. After scoring that touchdown, do you feel your victory dance is not winning the crowd? Wear the best to be the best. Elf pelts, made from the hair of high elves, straight from royalty. Wear the gleaming hair of royal blood elves and catch the eye of that special someone in the crowd.
I gotta tell you.
Pelts. Get them in silver, brown, black, and magenta. Disclaimer, not responsible for attracting the wrong gender of choice.
I gotta tell you, Fox, when I show up at the club wearing my elf pelt and start pouring that Bloodweiser banquet, man, I am the life of the party. Everybody thinks I'm a baller.
I agree. I totally agree. In fact, I caught myself looking at you a little too long when I was at the distance looking at you coming in, so I gotta admit, it was very nice.
Eldrill has been giving me some tips, so I got to thank him.
Yes. So
How
let's
to pretty myself
here.
up.
Let's see what they have to say.
Let's start with the victor first. He's probably in better spirits right now. Trippers, are you there?
Yeah.
So another outstanding finish by Golden Discipline. Again, I called it. I've seen too many of these matches to think that no matter how many obstacles he puts in your way, your guys would not out-elf the elves. Are you happy with your team? How happy are you with your team? Is the question.
Well, I'm slightly unhappy because I misplayed turn 15. I went for bread and butter free-player cage, but I should have...
You forgot about Eldrill?
No, I didn't forgot him. I just didn't want to overthink that. But my spider sense was tingling that. Well, to get there, I'm pretty sure he had like a 50% chance, roughly 50%, just to get unblock. Forget the power.
Did you calculate that from Samba, or was that one off of your head?
It's off my head. There were 2 dodges, one with from tackle piece, another with Alona, and there were few more. There was Eldrill, so that's already 50%, and there were a few more dodges and GFI, I think.
Gotcha.
From diving tackle, but I should have screamed because I should have abused strength 4 advantage.
This time, your team did not. You got 7 KOs, which was huge, off of the 77 blocks that your team threw, but not the usual murder, death, kill that your team inflicts. Player was killed, but then saved by the apothecary. You didn't get the credit for it for your team. But did you feel that the lack of hurting people is something that you're going to take back and make your players pay for in practice this week?
Not really. You have to give credit where credit is due. Jim's team is not well built. It's amazingly built, and it's very hard to keep them in that shape in MML, at least for other Elven coaches, for known reasons, who keep sacrificing their players for nothing just to have a few beastly ones. So it would be always tough for me to get a lot of attrition on team with 8 blodgers. Sure, I can remove individual ones because I have 6 tackle-like skills. If you wish, quite a few self-sufficient with strength or better, or half of them self-sufficient. So, but it was never going to be all-out numbers advantage.
I do have one question for you there, Trip. It's a 2-part question. Were you aware, and if not, are you surprised at how many of your players seem to have liked the charms of Eldril sideline?
Nah, good question.
Oh, he's a charming guy. We had a private talk before the game, so.
You and Eldril?
Yeah, he was a little bit distracted the first few turns, so and no, but
what did you do
after that a little bit? Between myself and Eldril.
Did you know your players were a little bit curious there, or what?
He's a handsome beauty. What would you have you done in my play?
I have a triple. You normally eat elf teams alive with your team. What, if anything, was it about Jim that gave him some more success against you in this match than other elf coaches have had? Anything he did particularly well?
I can't say he had that much success. Well, he certainly was not eaten alive. I think he built his team just to better deal with overall attrition, whoever he faces.
Gotcha.
Not only North. It's just a team which I can see the way they are now surviving for quite as long as Jim wants them to survive. Surely there will be some odd casualties, but it's really easy at least to give a first skill on a fresh elf on any elf team.
So I think if I'm understanding you right, I think you're saying that the best thing that Jim did with his team to combat you was done before he took the field in the way that he built the team.
Certainly.
Okay. My last question for you is you've gone at least a full season with no tackle on your team. Does it feel like a relief to have that strength 4 tackle piece running around as your safety and able to make things happen when frenzy fails?
He's useful, but my general feeling that 5 frenzy pieces are more than enough to deal with dodgers at any team value, especially given when they get a dodger down, it usually hurts like hell. So,
right.
I think that's completely enough. It's just that tackle is part of standard general access lineman progression. So.
Fox, I'm out of questions. Do you have any more?
There, Trip.
What?
I just said congratulations on your win there, Trip.
Yeah, congrats. Congrats, Trip. Very well played.
I would also like to add on last time when you said about Samba, first thing, Samba has been available for ages on webpage. So, and
I know, but we're gonna give you crap about it because that is such a super try-hard thing to do. Nobody else plays with Samba open while playing the game. Super try-hard, you gotta admit.
I want to. I won't contest that in general. but the reason I ran down that log because, well, there were really no other options. I was deciding whether I want to greed blocks or
No,
for casualties,
it was
or
absolutely the right
I should.
call. It was. I mean, you had a better
But,
chance of making that than making all of these other dice rolls to try to get a block. You dodge guys away, pick up the ball, throw it to some other guy. That
it was
was
either that or passing.
right. No, it was the right call. It was absolutely the right call. It was a brilliant play, given that I mean you took the best choice out of a bunch of crappy choices that Jim laid out for you, and it worked. And I'm just like it's just funny because the RNG is supposed to be an like a random number generator, but your team in particular, these guys seem to love that kind of situation. That those numbers always come up big for them. So it's
Well, yeah,
very
it's agility
entertaining.
crazy. What do you expect?
Well, I mean that doesn't normally. I just don't think that the probability is not great. But what I'm saying is from a completely from an unbiased point of view, to watch it just as a fan of Blood Bowl to see that kind of ending is super entertaining.
Yes.
And this game was super entertaining. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
let's bring on the our unfortunately there is a loser in this game. You're not a loser in life, Jim, but you are a loser in this game. How do you feel about your team's performance?
If you're gonna lose a game, that's the way to lose a game.
Really?
2016, I feel like I threw everything I could at him at the end there, and he was able to pull it out. It was even from it kicking you in the nuts kind of standpoint, it's still awesome to see when that happens.
And you got kicked in the nuts a lot in the first half, Jim. You got kicked in the nuts by the dice, and then you made a couple of what we were kind of shitting on you for here in the chat, like a couple of what we would call mistakes, and again something that you might take issue with and say, no, that was a strategy, didn't work out for me. But well, at least I think the repositioning of the guy where you wasted the dodge, we burned the reroll. I think that was a mistake.
That was definitely a mistake.
Right. So you made a couple of.
That was changing my plan in the middle of the play, kind of, because
Gotcha.
I was gonna put him over there, and I just wanted him to tie up, and then I was gonna take a one die, and then I'd have the other guy that was on the ground to pick up and get the ball and go in. And then I was like, well, if I get more guys down here, then I don't really need to, worry about getting the ball in immediately. So I'll just move this guy up a little bit, and he's a agility 5.
Well, you're hearing us criticize you like incessantly, in the first half, and your dice are crapping on you, and then the rain, and then the blitz, and all of this other crap happens, and somehow you just keep your head in there, and then brilliantly the second half, you made this a game where everybody thought that this was over at the beginning, in turn 9. So, what kind of what did you have to keep telling yourself for those other coaches who find themselves in that crappy situation? Anything that kind of kept you going and hoping for the best?
I play a lot of elves, and being that I play a lot of elves, by the second half I'm often down players, so I don't really worry about it. I just take what I have and try to do what I can with it.
Fox?
Good call. Good call. I do have to say that, strategic-wise, you were just A+ there. Things that I have to think about myself as an elf coach of what you did there. I might consider doing it myself. And, it was really good and tough break, but you really pulled it, like you said, the way to lose, that's definitely a way to lose. It wasn't not a long game like sometimes you get when you have a grinder like this.
Sometimes you can lose a game and still win general respect in the eyes of everybody watching, and you definitely, I'm sure you earned Trip's respect. I'm sure you definitely earned our respect, and I'm sure you earned a lot of people in the chat's respect who are like, damn, JimSardonic is pretty damn good with these elves. So
I'm pretty sure what I earned from Trip is an extra murdering next season.
No, I think even Trip gave you some compliments. I think in his and he definitely was more complimentary of you than I've heard him be of other people. I mean, he didn't try to put his competitors down, but I think that he definitely threw you a lot of compliments in this. So you made it very difficult.
You don't have to earn the murder part. It's from my generosity to other coaches.
Yeah, you're getting murder anyway, Jim. You don't earn it. It's just something that you're born with the right to get. Murdered.
Makes sense. It was like turn 3, and I had filed as Berserker twice, and I was like, God damn, if I do this again, it's going to be the end of me.
I like
across
that.
the ocean to my house to stomp me.
again, I like that. I like that strategy. Sometimes it's not always the right strategy, but you were telling him, if you pile on, this is what's going to happen. Against some other coaches, it might make them think twice about piling on, but I think Tripp has a strategy made up. And okay, foul me, I don't care. I'm going to keep piling on. So I don't know that you dissuaded him, but I kind of like that you were, mixing it up and your players were sending the message. So.
Well, I appreciate you guys calling it. It was very entertaining to listen to on my end, for sure.
Oh man, and I gotta say, this was so much more fun with Fox in the booth. I love co-announcing with this guy. That was awesome. By the way, the extra work you did to go out and land those sponsors for this match was amazing. You're a marketing genius.
Making me blush here.
Marketing genius, and made me crack up several times.
Well, I'm here to please. So yeah, I'm a colorful announcer. So I hope to do more of these, and
I hope so.
Maybe do some playoff ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so, man. You made it a lot better.
Thank you very much for announcing. Great stuff. Very entertaining, guys. Before we move on, I would like to ask Jim a question. It's not about mistake, but I thought that was a strategic choice. At the start of the game, I had for several turns 5 players, including ball carrier, available for fireball, and I thought. If Jim fireballs that, I could potentially get on back foot in terms of attrition, even if those would be just KOs. But of course, that would be an early wizard. Could you share your thinking about those situations? Or?
Yeah, I used to be very, very reckless with the wizard, and then I went into a phase where I was very, very hesitant with the wizard to a point where literally I would forget that I even have it and not use it. I went to Stu and talked to Stu about it. I'm sure Joe Fro's going to love that. Stu had some pretty brilliant advice, I thought. He was telling me that the right time to use a wizard is only when you can get to the ball. And the way your team was, I knew, honestly, I thought I was going to have an easier time scoring. That was a clusterfuck of getting a score in that second half.
Because of a blitz, too, that made it harder.
Yeah, that was made it damn near impossible.
Use the wizard when you have a good chance of getting the ball, or you have to use the wizard to get to the ball. Is that what he meant?
No, you'll see a lot of people use the wizard and they'll just zap it, and then one player's down there, and then the other dude's just gonna stand their dude up and maybe make a dodge and pick up the ball and run away. But if you can zap somebody, pick the ball and be on your way, if you can position yourself and plan yourself that way with elf movement, generally you can do that. That's kind of the way to go. And I conceded that first point. By the end I had 3 guys left on the pitch, and I was like, yeah, Tripp's gonna score. There's nothing I can do at this point.
Right.
So I was like, hopefully some people will come back. Maybe I'll have a chance at a 1 turn, but stand firm and sidestep and all that would get in the way of that. So really all it was me trying to save that as a last chance safety net in the event that you got down by the end zone and I could just bolt you as opposed to fireball. I don't really trust it to take your guys out.
Yeah, I normally agree with that too. By the way, I have learned to go back to I started thinking 83%. I'd much rather take that than these 50%, but then I saw the damage fireballs can do, and I really like doing that to people. And then, and now I'm back to that surgical, because you know who else does it amazing is Rez. Rez does a great job with his wizard. He knows just how to use it, so it's almost always a guaranteed score when he uses it.
Guys, I have to go. I gotta go pick up my car. It's ready at the shop. So cool. Good game, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
See y'all later.
Yeah, I'm out of here too.
Take care, Fox.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks.
MML Season 14, Week 1. This is how we do it. Starting off with highly exciting action. And thanks for watching. Check us out more at www.mmlpro.com. And we are out of here.